Marketplace is supported by Putnam Investments, celebrating over 70 years of service to financial advisors, their clients, and institutions worldwide. Putnam Investments, a world of investing. Produced in association with the University of Southern California.
Just when you thought you had all the financial vocabulary down, there is another one to learn. Add putbacks to CDOs and credit default swaps, gang. Why the foreclosure mess might really hurt. From American Public Media, this is Marketplace.
Marketplace is supported by Progressive Insurance, helping people shop for car insurance at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com. And by the Batten Institute, advancing knowledge about entrepreneurship and innovation at the University of Virginia's Darden School of Business, www.batteninstitute.org.
From the Frank Stanton Studios in Los Angeles, I'm Kai Ryssdal. It's Tuesday, today the 19th of October. Good to have you with us. It's a rare thing indeed when the biggest bank in the country reports a $7 billion loss, and that's not the lead story of the day. But such is the state of the financial industry that Bank of America's earnings announcement this morning is playing second banana. Of more interest and importance, probably, is the ever-growing discussion of how bad the foreclosure mess might eventually get. The Marketplace word of this Tuesday is putback. It's the present-day corollary to collateralized debt obligation and credit default swap of a couple of years ago, neither of which, by the way, wound up meaning anything good for the banking industry. We've got our senior business correspondent, Bob Moon, here with us to explain. Hey, Bob.
Hey, Kai.
All right, putbacks. What are they? Why do they matter?
Well, first of all, you're turning a transitive verb into a noun, Kai. But here's what the dictionary says. Okay. Return something to where it belongs is the first definition. And the second is probably more appropriate here. Pay something back to a person or group.
Or refund.
Exactly. Remember, we've talked about these mortgage-backed securities that were sold to investors, either private funds or the government-backed mortgage investment giants. They bought up the proceeds from pools of mortgages that get packaged up in the form of these securities. Now, the financial industry calls it a putback when the bank or the lending institution is forced to buy back the mortgage-backed security at face value, essentially give a refund to the investors who bought it, because there was something faulty about the way it was issued or sold.
Okay, so make the connection for me then between the foreclosure slowdown that we've been hearing about the past couple of weeks, all these paperwork problems, and this developing problem of the mortgage bond market.
Well, this logjam focused the spotlight on the problem of faulty documentation of these mortgages, and we all know that's thrown a wrench into the foreclosure process. But analysts are saying that this putback problem goes beyond that, because we're not just talking about people not making their mortgage payments. We're talking about whether the banks can be held liable for misrepresentation or fraud for those bonds, and if they'll be on the hook for tens of billions of dollars in these putbacks. Already, Bank of America has paid out more than $3.3 billion to settle claims stemming from faulty underwriting or documentation.
All right, so they're paying out some money, but they are also saying out of the other side of their mouths, listen, this is simply a paperwork drill. We will fix this. There will be no problem with the bond market. Trust us, basically.
Yeah, I'll tell you what the investors are saying. I'll see you in court. There are some very big private investors who are pressing the issue. There's a report out today that the big bond investment firm PIMCO, the private equity firm BlackRock, and even the Federal Reserve Bank of New York are demanding the return of $47 billion from Bank of America's countrywide financial unit. Now, B of A Chief Brian Moynihan has likened this to a war, and during his conference call with analysts today, he argued the bulk of these mortgage-backed securities is not faulty.
Our perspective on this, we're going to be quite diligent defending the interests of our shareholders. This really gets down to a loan-by-loan determination, and we believe, the resources to deploy against that kind of a review.
Translation, we can drag this out in the courts if we have to.
Yeah, all right. While they're doing that, is there a way for us to know what is coming? Is this the next version of the credit crisis? How much will this cost the banks? I mean, all of those questions.
That really is the multi-billion-dollar question at this point. Analysts for a couple of those too-big-to-fail banks have put the likely price tag around $55 billion, stretched out over many years, they say. In the worst case, though, a few other analysts say it could end up costing the banks more than $100 billion. And as for what it means to us, we're already seeing a new tightening up of credit. People in the